totaled $12 to put braids in my hair. So I don't want to hear about how expensive you think my hair is. But the point is, when people make statements like this, it's really clear that they don't really understand what's really going on with the hair culture, because white women wear just as many hair extensions, if not more, than black women. And I've seen it happen in my school, where a girl has been pulled aside like, oh, these hair extensions are a little excessive because she's African American and she came in with her little 24-inch weave. But there's also a girl on the soccer team with blonde hair who's had hair extensions since the beginning of the school year, but since it looks quote-unquote more natural, she doesn't get reprimanded for it at all. So, you know, that's my biggest problem with these kids getting in trouble, because they're not getting in trouble because it's not against their codes or whatever. They're getting in trouble because it's different. Half of the times when these kids are getting in trouble for the braids and the dreads, it's not even a matter of being distracting. It's just that if they're the only, you know, people of color and that's how they decide to wear their hair, of course it's going to be different from everybody else's, because we have to do our hair differently. Somebody who understands the differences in the cultures of how we do our hair and how other people do our hair wouldn't question that. They would know, okay, African American, she's going to wear braids. You know, everybody wears hair extensions these days. Some are just more noticeable than others. So it's just like, where's the line drawn? Because I have met tons and tons and tons of Caucasian people who wear just as much weave or more than me. Well, and they can pass by without being in any trouble.
I'm going to say this,
I would beg the question and
sorry.
say, who is checking one's head?
Right.
Like, are we? Who's checking the student's hair? Because we're not supposed to be touching students. So who's checking their hair to verify that it is natural, is not? I think we're just taking focus off the bigger issue.
Right.
So we're making a problem out of something that is not a problem.
Sure.
But again, it's just a way to deter from what needs to be done.
Exactly. And I'm going to say this.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Vice Principal Mathis, I'm going to say this and then I'll let you guys have the last word, but I don't necessarily think that it's a racial thing per se, because I know that within the community, within the African American community, you have disagreements about what's an extreme hairstyle, why do you have all that going on and so forth. So I think it may even be generational more so than a racial thing overall. Now, I'm not saying that there are not some individual things that weren't handled well. You know, I mean, to bring a young person in under certain circumstances and have them leaving in tears is unacceptable, particularly when we're just talking about the style of your hair. But I think overall, I think you can look within any culture and see and see that is happening. So that's just my opinion. I'm going to let you all have the last word.
Well, I want to hear from you, Miss Angela Mathis, because you work in the school system. What do you think can be said or done in this matter from a parental perspective as well as from a student perspective? How does one engage in this type of situation and be able to walk away with it and say, okay, this is what I need to do? How would you even advise someone to move forward from this type of action?
Again, I'm going to say if it should happen, because it's never happened to my knowledge in Clark County School District. Mm-hmm. It's been Clark County School District for the last so many years have really worked on cultural competency, which, does have diverse people of color. So I think that's played an important part. But hair or anything else that a parent does not feel is being handled properly, treated properly, they have to be their child's first advocate. So they have to have their voice heard as well. So they can't turn a deaf ear. They have to be vocal in expressing their concerns to the school, to the school board. They have to be vocal in doing that. I tell the kids and the parents all the time, I'm going to help you as much as I possibly can. But if for some reason, Angela Mathis does not do what you think is appropriate, voice your concern. I want to be held accountable too. I shouldn't be in your child's life and make it worse than when they came. That's not why I'm here.
Right.
That's not why any of us are here. So do what you have to do. I need to be held accountable, and I like giving parents that advice because it does keep me accountable. I'm not saying I want you to go tell on me. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I need you to be your child's voice. Nobody's going to listen to your child the way they're going to listen to you. They should, but I need you to be your child's voice. As we're talking, I work at Matt Kelly Elementary. We're talking about kinder through fifth grade. We're talking about kids. Mm-hmm. I need you to be their voice. And they do a really amazing job at that. Those would be my final thoughts and final suggestions.
Well, all right. Well, this has been a great discussion, Vice Principal Mathis, and we have learned a great deal from you tonight. And thank you so much for joining us for this discussion, because you've given us a lot of great insight. And, it's very apparent that schools do have the ability to set the standards, and they must be followed. However, grooming standards should never be arbitrary or insensitive, because the impact on a child may last forever. When we come back from the break, it has been week 1 in the NFL. How long will the protests last? Let's talk about it. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Straight No Chaser. We'll be right back.
I just remembered it's election day. Are you going to vote?
I don't know. I don't think I'll have time today.
Millions of eligible voters in America never make it to the polls or even register to vote. When you don't vote, you're letting other people make decisions for you and pick the things your taxes will pay for. Voting is more than a civic duty. It gives you a voice about the priorities and the future of your community and our nation. Voting gives you a seat at the table.
Welcome to the Community Happy Hour, where we feature free and charitable events throughout the country. The Smorgasbord LA will be held on Sunday, September 16th at 10 a.m. at 777 Alameda Street in Los Angeles, California. The Work Baltimore Empowerment to Employment Convention will be held on September 26th and 27th at the Baltimore Convention Center in Baltimore, Maryland. The Young Professionals on Tap will be held on September 12th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the McAllister Leftwich House in Greensboro, North Carolina. And finally, the Las Vegas Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated invites the community to participate in the D-Free program's $1 billion debt reduction campaign. For more information, go to www.billiondollarchallenge.com and register with the DST LVAC group. So come on, let's support the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta as they attempt to help the community to rid itself of debt. So come on, everyone, raise your glass and let's celebrate our wonderful communities.
Hey, loser.
Leave me alone.
When a child shares hurtful comments online, that's bullying. Visit erasebullying.ca to learn how to help your child stand up to cyberbullying.
You're listening to Straight No Chaser. So let's get back to your girl Ambezi, Pastor C, and the Chief.
There's a big old pause after MBZ. Welcome back, guys. Well, the NFL season is underway. And of course, the protests from last year continued. 10 National Football League players from 6 teams protested in one way or another during the playing of the national anthem in the first week of NFL regular season games. ESPN also announced it will not broadcast the national anthem for any of the Monday night football games. Pastor C, help us to understand. There were not as many players protesting. Does that mean that this is just about over, or does the situation with the players union working with the owners to craft a solution taking effect?
Hey, Pastor C, before you give us some words of wisdom, there's one announcement that we forgot to include. Oh. And this one comes from the city of North Las Vegas, and they are having their re-event, where they recycle, reduce, repurpose, and reuse. And that'll be on Saturday, September 22nd from 8 to noon at the Craig Ranch Regional Park at 628 West Craig Road in North Las Vegas.
The re-event.
And also, let me say one other thing too, Pastor C. We were remiss in not sending out our well wishes to Thinbad as the folks in North Carolina are preparing for the impending storm. I know
we're praying for them, man.
Indeed, he is on the road now, going to get his daughter from school because a lot of the schools are closing and roads are being shut down, and it's just going to be a mess there for the next few days. So, Thinbad, safe travels, my friend, my frat brother, and our frat brother, and
yes, sir.
Just wish you well and be safe, and we will see you when you get back.
Praying for you, man. All right, Chief. Well, Amber, you asked a wonderful question. Is the protest over? And I will say no. As the old songs used to say, we've only just begun. I think that as long as we continue to see the injustice that is happening with our police force and different things of that nature, it will continue, which was the purpose for the protests anyway. Okay. Mr. Kaepernick has made a standard. He has or set a standard. He has coupled with Nike and different organizations and things of that nature. And so you have a lot of players who believe in and also support what he is standing for. And then when I think about it, we just seen here in Dallas where a police officer walks in the wrong apartment and kills a young African-American man. And we're watching that unfold. And although it does not really have a lot to do with the issues, however, it does stir up and agitate some of the things and the feelings that are in our communities, in our society, when it comes to the injustice that is happening in our land. And so when you consider players, I do want to say this, Ambezi and the Chief, Colin Kaepernick can protest because he is paid. Okay, and I'm not taking anything away from him. He's under contract with Nike, but you do have some other players who want to stand with and believe in the cause.